I've taken over a new team, um, under 14 boys, um, a competent technical level. So that means basically I don't have to spend lots of time working with them in terms of how they control and manage receiving and passing and retaining. Um, but what I do have to work on is imposing a style of play and a mentality to play. Um, the disadvantage that we've had is that I've been introduced to them literally a week or two prior to the start of the season. So any work that has been done with them or not has obviously done without my sort of stewardship, without my guidance or agreement, really. So now, as the season is underway, I have to manage their playing style in terms of what I want to see them do, and I have to dispel what maybe they've been taught or not taught immediately before they started working with me. And that's what pre-season should be for, is to prepare players mentally to the challenges of the season. So what I've done with these guys is we've started to straight away get into fitness. I've increased the training sessions. Also, I've made it clear to them and to their parents, because obviously when you're working with players who are youth players, young players, you're working with their parents as well. So I've explained to them that this is what we are working on for this period of time. This is the reason we're working on it. It ain't anything specifically scientific or adventurous. It's just simple pre-season training, unfortunately during the season, and it's preparing players mentally to tough opposition and preparing them not to play against the average teams in the league, but to play against the toughest teams. So we should have an attitude which should apply easily to really, really strong sides that we'll come up against. So that means you've got to prepare the team for defeat. The reality of the game is that you don't win every game, so you must develop a mental toughness, which means that you don't become defeated mentally at the games that you actually lose, because you need to be able to move on. To do that, the players have to be fit. So I'm trying to work them hard, but not so hard that they don't ever want to speak to me again. But there needs to be an awful lot of fitness at the beginning of the session, and an emphasis on the importance of fitness when you're doing the match-related practice. And also, again, just to end the session, you should have a wee bit of fitness at the end. So that's my personal philosophy. And then we're working on defending for the next 6 weeks, I think, if not a bit longer than that, to be honest with you, depending on how we seem to be progressing in our games. So I've had to work, firstly, again, just to recap, working with a new team and getting them at an impromptu period during the season. I've had to work on their mentality, getting them to think like athletes and not to be fragile, that they get defeated easily and deflated easily. I've had to work with their parents, so make it inclusive and transparent, so they know what's happening and why, and they know and believe that you're working fairly. And then I've had to work on the fitness level, so increase training sessions and increase the emphasis on fitness and the importance of fitness during the training sessions. And then I have to work on defence, because if we're not fit, we lose concentration. Losing concentration means you create big gaps on the field when you're playing. It makes it doubly hard for your team, doubly, which isn't even a word. And then that means that we're less likely to prevent goals from being scored against us. So work on mentality, fitness, and defending.